Well, thanks for everybody for being here, and thanks to the city of Tulsa and the 918 area code for being there tonight. It was a great environment, a lot of fun to be a part of this game, and of course for us and our program, it's a nice step. It's a step to bring the Mayor's Cup back here to 11th and Harvard. I thought it was a total team effort for our guys. A lot of respect for ORU Roberts and the way they came out to play. I thought they really punched first. They were the aggressors to begin the game. Just in the way that they applied pressure, the way that they did some different things, the pace that they were playing with. We had to adjust and react, but I thought our guys did well. And we were able to get that big lead there in the second half and kind of limp to the finish line a little bit. Give credit to ORU Roberts for the plays that they made, and the rebounding is really something that we've got to be able to continue to fix. But we took care of the basketball. We were plus in the turnover margin. We shared it, and then guys were able to make the key plays when we needed. So total team effort for our group.
Well, just how does it feel to get your first Mayor's Cup win? You know, it's been obviously a few years since TU's had it, but you as a coaching staff, it's the first time.
Yeah, I think anytime you play for something, you want to have it. And if there's a big trophy and you can play for it, that's what we want to do. And I think these things are special. These are things that you remember. And talking to our former players, Herb Suggs came by the office today, those of you that may know Herb. And Mr. Suggs, we were talking and I've gotten to know him in my years here. And he just said to me, he said, do the guys know what this means? And I said, well, I've educated them, and they absolutely know, and they're gonna find out. And the nice thing is we have some guys back from last year that experienced it. We addressed the importance, but they're competitors. We know who we recruited, and they want to compete, and this was a great opportunity to compete.
22 points tonight. Is his presence already being felt so early on, with him being missing so much last year? Is it already showing, the type of player that he is?
Yeah, he's got the same facial expression all the time. He's just very steady. He's, of course, a special three-point shooter, but you saw he was able to break the ball down a little bit and get to the free throw line and get to the paint, make some good decisions. But he's an everyday guy, and that's what we like to call, the best players. They're everyday, they're consistent. We have a saying in the program that being great is being consistently good, and just be an everyday guy, and he's one of those guys.
The 3-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, can you speak on that a little bit, Coach?
Yeah, very proud of the guys. I mean, we talked about our last game out, we had 7, and I'd sign up to that every game. Now it's 5, and so we had 5 tonight. And with the way ORU Roberts was playing early and the pressure they were applying, we needed to make a shift a little bit in how we were playing offense and try to create a little bit more dribble penetration, a little bit more spreading of the floor. But really proud of the guys for the way that they were strong with the basketball, even with the pressure, the full court pressure late, to try to speed the game up, and they had fouls to give, and they were coming at us. Really good job by our guys.
Also, Keaton and Odom seem to just be so mature in that backcourt for you.
Well, they're mature people, they're older guys. And again, Dwan's an everyday guy too. I mean, they just have seen so many different moments, and experience is such a great teacher, both positive and negative. Those two guys have been in so many different games. And Dwan is one, and I know we've all talked about it, from playing the point and playing the 2. We put him in the post a lot tonight. He's our Swiss Army knife. And he guarded McBride for a while, just doing a number of different things, but those two guys were leaning on a lot.
Thank you, Coach. Michael?
You let Dwan Odom, it seemed, handle the press some too. What went into the decision of having him as one of your main people to do that?
So we have 2 press breaks. We have one that's called Batman, where one guy's by himself, and another one's called Robin, where he's got a partner. And it sounds like you've all watched the cartoon. And so, we had basically Dwan taking the ball out of bounds, and then in our Robin press break, where him and Ty were working together, Ty got the inbound and then was able to pass it back to Dwan, and then his, there was an edge, and he went forward with it and did a really nice job with it. So we were prepared for that. They had shown that press before, and I thought our guys did a good job.
What kind of progress did you see in this game from the first two?
Well, I thought that in the first couple of games we got off to decent starts and we got a lead early. We actually had to come from behind in this one. We had to react, and we don't really like that. We'd like to set the terms early, but again, give credit to ORU Roberts with just the type of intensity they came out with. We've got to fix that. But also playing with a lead late and getting a team's best effort. They came with more pressure. We were able to handle it. The rebounding is a concern. I know we've all talked about it. We're still trying to find different ways to rebound this basketball and finish plays. But again, give ORU credit for the way that they hung in there.
How did you think that Ian Smichael handled the kind of additional minutes that he was out there for?
Well, he was rebounding the basketball really well, and he had the 7 rebounds. But he led us in plus minus. He was a plus 15 in the game. So we talk about those things, about the impact that you can make even when you're not scoring the basketball. You have the ball in your hands, of what winning basketball looks like. And he plays really, really hard. He's been very consistent with his effort and his energy and his attitude, and just trying to get better every day. So I thought he got better tonight.
I want to bounce off that. There was a couple times, especially late, I'm pretty sure you had most of your guards out on the floor. I think at one point Matt and Ian both were sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
Is that because of the physicality of the game that was going on at the end?
So they went small with number 64 Alajiki at the 5, and he's a pick and pop guy that's dangerous. And they hit us on a few early, and we were kind of like, okay, we just got to make sure that we're not giving up a lot of threes here late. So we went with Isaiah basically as our biggest guy, and then switching all ball screens and just trying to keep the ball in front. If they got by us, we were just trying to make them take as much time as possible and maybe get a 2, if anything. Of course, we wanted to, give them nothing, but we didn't want to give them threes.
And last thing for me, bouncing off of Ian, but Matt, he didn't have as many minutes tonight. He only had 2 points. Foul trouble, though, was obviously a thing. Where does he you feel like you guys need to improve with him going forward?
I think the nice thing is, and then I told the team that this was a total team effort, and everybody's contribution is significant on the floor, on the bench. This is all about learning and improvement. We've got a lot of guys that are in much. We talked about Keese and Dewan. Those guys have experienced these things before. But we have a number of guys that have not been in big minutes at big situations in these types of moments, and we just got to continue we'll have great tape for them tomorrow, and then we got to get ready to go on the road and try to do it again.
So when you were up 15, I know you'd rather win by 20, but it never felt, to me anyway, that you were in trouble. You know what I mean? There's a difference between maybe losing some of your lead and being in trouble. So I just wonder if you're pretty fired up to go on the road with these guys to see how they handle. I don't know that Missouri State's a real snake pit, but it's a tough place, and I just wonder if you're fired up to see how these guys handle, this kind of a test, but at their place instead of your place.
Well, I can tell you, I'm fired up for practice tomorrow. I'm fired up for the film session. I really like these guys. Whether it's practice or watching a football game together, this is a great group of guys. But this is the way the schedule was put together. And again, we go in with a plan of what we'd like it to look like. But then you just handle the way it is. But we knew that we had these 3 home games, and then we had to go on the road. Missouri State had a very close game at Butler to start the season. Coach Martin does a great job. This is a great old Missouri Valley game. When I was a GA here back in 2000, we played up there and had a great game. So the hardest thing in all of sports is winning a road game in college basketball by the percentages. So we know that we got our hands full, but this is the next step on this journey with this group, and we're looking forward to it.
And comment about the maturing of Tyshawn Archie. Just obviously he's always had the major energy, and you've had a good year last year, but just talk a little bit about his maturing this year.
Yeah, well, he got in some foul trouble early, but he's got great confidence, and we started him on the game guarding McBride, who's a handful. I mean, he's a sixth-year senior and very experienced and a great scorer and strong and tough. And I thought Ty had some good moments, but he picked up some fouls, and so didn't play as much in the first half. But again, case in point, for a guy that's learning and growing, playing those minutes at the end of the game, trying to keep a lead, handling pressure, getting trapped, all those types of things. He's getting better and better, and I love the kid. And he shows up ready to practice every day. Loves basketball, and we just want to keep progressing.